Retired gamers.
Hey everyone, this is Rossetti from Retired Gamers. In this video I'm going to show you how to get the most out of your Dynamis currency farming in Final Fantasy XI. I have solo farmed Dynamis over 300 times and want to show you some advanced techniques that you will not find in any other video so that you can maximize your currency per run and get to rocking that shiny new relic. I'll explain it in a simple way that even a Galka will be able to understand. There are many ways of farming Dynamis, but I have found the most consistent method to be with proccing job abilities in the Dreamlands Dynamis areas, such as Qufum, Valkyrum, or Buburimu. I have tried other methods of farming, such as 100 coins and Dynamis Juno, but that type of farming is completely luck-based and is not recommended. You are given two choices for farming in the Dreamlands area, Subjobs Unlocked and Subjobs Locked. I will go over both types of farming, so let's get started. The first thing you need to do is prepare. I've had many friends ask me how I farm Dynamis, and after I show them my method, they are very thankful. What I've come to realize is that they were farming for 2 hours and netting anywhere between 20 to 45 single currency. My method can get you an average of at least 500 currency per run as a beginner, and with advanced techniques and a little bit of luck, upwards to 1150 per run. Of all the people that I help, I find out that they did not prepare, and this is the most important step. Thief must be leveled to 99 with Dancer Sub. If you leveled Thief just to farm, you may not have many job points into it, so make sure to put at least one job point into Mug and one job point into Despoil. This gives an additional 2 proc abilities that were not there before. If you're new to Dynamis farming, you'll want to go in with Subjobs Unlocked. You'll also need a treasure hunter set to maximize the amount of currency that drops. Having an open inventory is so important. You will want to make sure you have a lot of inventory space with at least 50 slots. Dynamis can drop a lot of gear that is outdated, and what this does is it fills up your inventory and will keep you from staying focused on the farm. Having such a large amount of inventory space will prevent you from losing currency. You'll want to get a pair of non-eye-level daggers. In my main hand I use a Lux Pugio, while Thief's Knife is an excellent offhand for this. The reason you'll want the lower non-eye level daggers is because the Trust NPCs are based off of your weapon level. And if you're rocking an eye level 119 dagger, the Trust NPCs will destroy the enemy before you even have a chance to proc. Once the enemy is proc, you'll want to destroy it as fast as possible. A good damaging weapon skill is great. I prefer Rudra Storm, but Evisceration can be a great alternative. Bring a reraise for emergencies, as you can still farm with weakened status. The addition of Trust NPCs has made Dynamis farming more reasonable and fun. The Trust NPCs can actually help you proc, so picking the right trust is vital to increasing the currency yield. While not required, the following list of trusts is the best setup you can use for farming in Dynamis. Uka Totlihn, Mayakov, and Mumor are all dancer trusts that constantly use steps on the enemies. You'll also want a couple of white mage trusts, preferably ones that don't attack. Another aspect of making your farm successful is preparing a macro set that is tailored to the farm. A damage taken set should be used for gathering a few mobs at once. I gather about 5 to 12 at a time. You may want to add a form of movement speed gear in your damage taken set. A TP set is good to swap to after you've proc to build TP to defeat mobs faster. Proc macros are your bread and butter of the farm. With sub-jobs unlocked, the primary job ability you will use to proc will be Box Step. Its short recast time of 5 seconds make Box Step an invaluable tool for proccing. You'll also have 4 more job abilities to use that you will alternate with Box Step. The shortest ability after Box Step is Violent Flourish, with a 20-second recast followed by Bully with a 3-minute timer and Mug and Despoil having 5-minute timers. If you alternate correctly and all abilities are available, you'll have 11 procs that you can do in a row. So as an example of a really stubborn enemy, you'll use Box Step, Violent Flourish, Box Step, Bully, Box Step, Mug, Box Step, Despoil, Box Step, Violent Flourish, Box Step. A good pro tip about your proc macros is you'll want to put a treasure hunter set in each one. For example, line 1 of your Box Step macro should have your treasure hunter gear set, and then line 2 should be the actual job ability macro. You'll be killing 2 birds with 1 stone by doing this, and you'll see a significant amount more currency from that macro alone. Once you're done proccing, you'll want to defeat the enemy quickly with a weapon skill macro. Remember, the run is about proccing and defeating the mobs as fast as possible, so your speed will determine the amount of currency you will obtain. The next set of macros you'll want to make are the Sneak, Invis, and Flee macros, for quick travel around the map and to sneak by any enemies. Another good tip is to put movement speed gear in your Sneak and Invis macros. The next macro to make is a Trust NPC summon macro for when you enter Dynamis. This macro is very helpful and will optimize your time for more currency farming. At this point, you're ready for Dynamis, and you want to just go in and go for it. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. The first thing you're going to do is you'll enter at one of the hieroglyphics and pick the Sub-Jobs Unlock selection. As soon as you enter, you're going to use your NPC Trust macro to summon your Trust and quickly sneak and invis up. The next thing you're going to want to do is find the time extensions. Getting all 5 time extensions is required in order to proc the mobs with a red proc. Use wide scan to your advantage to search for each one of the time extensions. There are 4 10-minute time extensions and 1 20-minute time extension. The 10-minute time extensions will be in each Beastman group, the lower level ones, and the 20-minute time extension is going to be, it's going to float around each high-level Beastman camp. So you're really going to have to kind of go out of your way to find the 20-minute one. As you do it more and more, it'll get easier and easier to find the 20-minute time extension. Now the next thing you'll want to do is find your camps. The camp will constantly be changing as time of day determines what enemies you will proc for job abilities. For example, if you're farming in Dynamis Buburimu, you'll be fighting nightmare crawlers, ravens, and ergonites from midnight to 8 a.m. Vanadil time. Nightmare Mandies, Bunnies, and Evs from 8 a.m. to 1600. And Nightmare Scorpions, Crabs, and Dalmals from 1600 to midnight Vanadil time. The camp route I like using in Buburimu is the Raven, Mandy, and Scorpion route. Now the last thing you'll do is just pull between 2 and 10 enemies based on your damage taken set and experience, and just line them up on a wall and start procking. Once you proc the enemy, you want to immediately defeat it, but watch out because sometimes you won't see the proc animation, so you want to be paying attention to each specific enemy that you're fighting, and if they're terrorized, then you most likely proc it. At this point, you're going to see your inventory start to be stacked with currency. Congratulations, you just learned how to farm in Dynamis. Going into Dynamis with sub-jobs locked is by far the best way to farm for ancient currency. With sub-jobs being locked, you have a chance of proccing a special white proc that guarantees a 100-piece currency to drop from the enemy. There is a small drawback as the percentage for proccing white is about a 1% chance, but the reward when it does happen is well worth the effort. When you're ready to enter Dynamis, you'll pick the sub-jobs locked option and enter. One thing that you'll notice about sub-job locked farming is you lose a lot of job ability proc potential, due to the fact that you will be losing your Dancer Steps and Flourish job abilities. What this means is that you are relying on your Trust NPCs to proc for you. There are two things that you'll need for farming with sub-jobs locked in Dynamis. The first is experience with farming in Dynamis, and the second is the 3 Dancer Trust NPCs. Uka, Mayakov, and Mumor are required for white proc farming, so make sure you have all 3 trusts before going forward with no sub-jobs. Even though you have to rely on the Trust NPCs to proc for you, Bully, Mug, and Despoil are still available to you on Thief Main. You'll need a stack of Sneak Oils and Invis Powders to save you time. Farm exactly as you did before by defeating the enemy as soon as a proc happens, and enjoy the spoils. Maybe Altana will be nice to you with a few white procs. Good luck. By the way, I failed to mention, when you're farming in Dynamis Buburimu, you're going to want to kill these dragons. This is what's going to put you over the over 1k currency most of the time. They have a really great drop rate on 100 pieces. Well, I guess if you're lucky, it's really great. I probably get them maybe 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 times. I've had a whole run where they didn't drop at all. And I won't spend my time on this as well. I'll spend the majority of time you're going to want to be farming for the singles currency. Because that's where you're going to get a majority of your currency from. This is just extra, and I've been unlucky as getting 100 pieces from these dragons, but I've also gotten as many as 5 per run. So it's just really dependent on your luck, and I think that that it doesn't hurt to kill them while you're on your way for either the time extensions or just from moving from camp to camp. I hope you enjoyed this guide and hope it is helpful in you completing your relic. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. Thank you.